No, I'm blurry. Get this off. It's any clearer. Oh, come on, get clear. Never wants to get clear if I need to get clear. If I zoom? Come on, get clear. There we go. Finally. Can you hear him? Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that wonder. No, today it's clear. Anyway, as you can see, got the big heat lamp on. The cardboard is in desperate need after 3 days of needing changed. I'm not changing it right now. But see, they got, this is a heater back here. I call it a TV heater. At night, when the door is shut, it's open for the chickens to get out. At night, when the door is shut, I leave it on. I turn it on because it stays warm enough in here. But during the day, with the door open, and see the cracks around the door in here, and of course this has got a vent, it stays chilly, especially when it's windy. This thing, unlike the big coop down there, it doesn't shut. There's nothing to block it. I have to put like a piece of plastic over it for the winter, but I don't because I let it breathe, and I let the doors breathe around there because they swell, and that way it has some air get through and into it. If you don't, and you try to block this whole thing off in the winter, with this little thing and the door shut in the winter, it stays great. And with the door open in the winter, for the big chickens, it stays nice. But for little chicks during the day, it gets a little bit too chilly for them. Yeah, I'm getting your food. I'm sorry. See, you guys still have food back there. If you need water, I came out early this afternoon around 2. And it's now, right now, about 5. Or a little before 5. I'm sorry. I finally... I'm trying to push everybody out. Get in there. In. Get in there. Oh, goodness. Hello, Conjure. Hi. I love you, too. Get in there. In there. Thank you. I got the top to their nummy dish. She still had some nummies in there. But it's okay, because the, they got some blueberries today, some worms, and the herbs and stuff. Crushed up Cheerios. Blueberries are great for them. And some oatmeal. There you go. Wander, you gotta move your big fat butt. I need this. And anyway, Wander is the duck. This little buff one is Juno. And then you got Conjure. And then Sultan. I think Sultan is a girl. I wanted a male black Silky. Because I had a rooster Silky a long time ago named Sultan. But something got a hold of him. And since then, I've always wanted another rooster Silky. That was a black Silky named Sultan. And then I got my 2 black girls that were bearded from a friend. And there the 2 are. And I named one Satine and one Sultan. And I had to change Sultan's name to Sully. She never answered to Sultan. But she did answer to Sully. So, that wasn't a problem. But I was happy to get the 2 black ones. Because I've tried breeding my own black ones, even though they were mixed. They still had a 6 toes, because I bred them with my black girls over there, which were part Silky. They happen to be, you know, Jersey Giants, or there's another black chicken. I keep forgetting the names of them. They're not Jersey Giants. I just can't think right now. But I bred them with my Jersey Giants and my other type of black chickens. Just to get the black Silkies. And they always came out with 6 toes. Even though they were mixed breed, it gave me black Silkies at least. And once in a great while, my my white to white Silkies would throw me black Silkies. It just depends on what's in the line. Okay, get your water. But I came out here around 2:30, getting some water. And the chicks wouldn't go through this much water But the duck goes through a lot of water. And a lot of people are like, oh, put the duck somewhere else. I could get another cage and put it down there, but then I'd have to hook a heat thing up to that. And run another extension cord. I don't have another cage to put in here. I mean, I do. But it's going to take up room. I'm not doing that. It's only one duck. It's not I can't come out here and give him water. So. Oh, almost dropped the food. Give you guys some food. And see, I just filled this up. And this thing is good for like 3 feedings. I'm going to fill this up in the morning, and I still have a lot until evening. Sometimes they don't even eat anything until closer to evening. There's times I come up here and it's still full. It's like they didn't eat any of their food. I'm getting your water. I'm getting it. I got to get everybody's water out there too. I'm going to feed the big farm and I'm going to feed the bunnies. I gotta do everything. I gotta hose out this. Hose out this. Shake it up. Clean it out. Will you stop? Alright. I'm gonna see if I can set this up here. There we go, because I gotta get in my pocket and I gotta get the pre and probiotics and the electrolytes. Kyle, quit barking at the kitties. I usually put a little apple cider vinegar in their water, but I do that in the morning feedings. I don't necessarily do that in the daytime feedings. Trying to find out where I put my electrolytes. Which pocket. Unless I ran out. And if I did, I'm not going back to the house to get it right now. But I give them probiotics and electrolytes and the apple cider vinegar with the mother in it, the pure apple cider vinegar, in the morning. But in the evening, I just give them I'm just gonna have to put that in there for right now. I give them the other stuff. But I don't have the other one in my pocket. So as long as I get the electrolytes, it's fine. The reason why I'm just giving them the electrolytes, and I want to keep them with the electrolytes, is the duck goes through a lot of water. And I try to make sure I do the electrolytes at least 3 times a day. Is because the duck goes through a lot of water, but to make sure the chicks stay hydrated, because the duck takes up more water than the chicks actually drink. So if I keep the electrolytes in there, it keeps the chicks at least hydrated. Come in with the water. As soon as I get the top, you want to screw on. Oh, come on, Lid. Any other time. Thank you. Come in. Will you move that? Get out of there. Oh. Okay, there we go. Is everybody happy? But I think the only rooster is Conjure. When I was looking up names to name them, especially for fall, it said when you're looking for pictures, and I looked up Juniper, and I really like that name, and it said if you're looking for other pictures, conjure up, type into the computer, conjure up the word fall, and you'll find a lot of pretty names for boys and girls for baby names. And it's like, ooh, I like the name Conjure, and that would make a cool name for a pet. And I figured if they both turn out to be hens, I could call him Connie. I could call him Connie in June. If they turn out to be roosters, I can call them Junie and Con. But I don't plan on keeping them if they're roosters. I have, as you can see, I have enough roosters. I just got back to one rooster. That's a silky rooster. Hey, Jack, quit chasing Divine. I have 2 roosters right there. A cornflake, which is related to my truffles that passed. And he is the dad to these silkies. To the 3 silkies there. Because they got 6 toes. And he is the only male that I had at the time. I didn't get Divine, aka Scrappy, back until after these guys were... well, I only got him back about maybe a week ago. And these guys were more than a week old. But Cornflake, Poof's the mom. Hi, Poof! Yeah, she's 8 years old. She still lays me eggs once in a great while. But I needed a male. And right there's his sister, Eaton. Or his half-sister. I needed a male who's not related to him. Non-related. A non-related Silkie. Even though I do got 4 girls who are distantly related to him, and I do got the 2 black girls and the buff girl that's not related to him at all. But that way I have some chickens that aren't related to him. None whatsoever. I have 4 that aren't related to him, and I can breed to them, to my buff and my 2 black. But I have Divine, which I can breed to the other girls. But if Juno and Sultan, which happens to be a hen, I'm still going to name their name Sultan, happens to be hens, they stay. If Juno and Conjure happens to be roosters, I have enough roosters. Like I said, I've always wanted a black silky rooster. Even though he is related to Cornflake, I could still use him, or my neighbor can actually use him for breeding. I would keep him, because that was one of my goals, is to get a rooster. The way you have a spike on your head and a fluff on your head, I'm thinking maybe it might be. But I already did promise to my neighbor, if he turns out to be a male, or that one does, she could have him, because she recently lost her rooster. And her rooster was mean anyway, so it wasn't like it was a total loss. And he was really mean. But that way she could have him. And, like, I needed another duck, but I was trying to get ducks to hatch out. Only one hatched out. I was trying to get ducks to hatch out, so that way she could have some for her lonely duck. I would give her that duck, but that is a Romy duck, and Romy is 8 years old, and it's hard to get an egg from her. Usually when an egg comes from Romy, it is fertile. So, and my hens that were hatching the babies out, they were okay when the babies started hatching out, but as soon as they got up and started walking around, my 2 black silkies were on the nest. They were fine with them. But they were more occupied with the babies and getting up and teaching them, so they wouldn't sit on any more of the eggs. I tried taking the babies out and putting them in a tote, but they didn't want to sit on any more of the eggs. They were freaked out because I took the babies. So the only mom that would sit on the nest was the mean mom, who kept attacking the ducks and killing them. So as soon as the eggs would hatch out, I had to pull the ducks. The only duck that survived was that one, because he hatched out on time. The other ducks kept hatching out early and having too big of a yolk sac, and then the other chicks just didn't hatch. They died in the egg, and the only 3 duck eggs that were left, she was cracked. She was like cracking holes in them. And there's only 3 left. I think she might have known they were duck eggs, because they were about a week from hatching, so they had a big yolk sac. And I think she might have known they were duck eggs. I don't know if she could sense it, smell it, I don't know. And she was cracking them. She was like pecking at them, and there was cracks in them, and then there was holes in them. And they were still alive inside that egg, But every day when I come up, the hole would be bigger. It'd be cracked bigger. To the point where they'd be halfway out, and I had to take him in and try saving them. Because if I would have left him, she would have had him cracked open and killed. But they didn't make it. And there were some that were just duds, didn't make it, or weren't fertile. So I'll just get an incubator and try sometime again later. Like next year. Not this year. It's getting too cold. Alright. Check you guys and do the bottom farm. You guys need any water? Yes, you need a little bit. Do you guys need anything? Like, do you guys even need any hay? You guys need any water? No, you're good. You guys got a big pot lot of pool water. Hi. You guys are going to get a new cage here eventually. You guys got enough hay too. These guys are going to get updated with a new cage. Me and my dad are going to build it. It's going to look like that cage. Just, everybody's asking, when are you going to do it, or can I do it? I could build a cage like this, not a problem. Kai, could you quit? Thank you. Yes, I could do a cage like this. I'd go down and get the material. I got some of the tools here and some of the material. But me and my dad did a project like this. And we kind of like doing projects like this together. So if I started a project without him, I think he'd be a little bit upset. And it's kind of something to say. I think he likes doing these things with me. So I wait for him. And he's got a lot of projects that he's got to do at his house. I got a lot of projects I got to finish. These guys, you see how small they are? He's a lionhead. He's a very small lionhead. He's a mixed breed bunny. He's got dwarf in him. I think he's dwarf and Rex. But he's very small. They're tiny. These girls are a little bit bigger. And for winter and winter coming up, this is perfect for them. Especially to stay warm. And during the summer, when it's hot and everything, as you can see, I keep flipping this side over. See how loose this side is? And when the wind comes, I usually take a big rock, which is way over there right now. Or I pick up that big brick over there, which is way over there. And I sit up against here so the wind can't blow this. But when it's nice, I flip this over and slide that rock back. Just forward a little bit. Because when it rains, then it gets their hay a little bit wet. And it's been rainy here for the last couple of days. A treat bowl. Their treat bowl needs to be cleaned. After like 2 or 3 days, the treat bowl, it looks like it's nasty. Like I never clean it, but it's because I put herbs and spices in it. Not spices, herbs and stuff like that. And then because of the blueberries and the fresh fruit, see how the blueberries get on my hand? See? It gets in their dishes, and then it gets all over. And it looks like it's nasty, but it's not. It's just, looks like it's dirty, and it's not dirty. It's just from the herbs, because I got all kinds of herbs and stuff in there. I got echinacea in there for them. That's all my shirt. And other herbs and stuff in there for them for winter, summer, all kinds of stuff. And of course with the fresh fruits and veggies, it gets wet and then that stuff sticks to the dish. And every 2 or 3 days I gotta clean it out. And if I don't get a chance to, then it makes it look icky. And it's not. Oops, I forgot to check their food. I think I got enough food. My rabbits don't go through that much food. Their food like lasts them a week. Why? Because they get so much hay. Just need water. Water, water, water. Your life source. Okay. How am I going to do this? Can I set you here a certain way? So you can maybe watch. Yeah. Watch a bunny eat. That's Mittens. Mittens used to belong to my neighbor. And that's Snow, her sister. Snow used to have other rabbits she lived with. But they were older and they passed away. So she kind of got depressed. And Mittens used to live by herself, didn't really have a problem. But, and my neighbor, it's not that she found it hard to take care of her, because it wasn't hard to come out and feed and water rabbit and give her love and attention. But my neighbor thought that the rabbit needed more. That she needed a buddy, that the rabbit needed more than just a pet every once in a great while on the camera. That she needed more than just a pet every once in a great while, that she needed more attention. And there's days that I get sick and I can't come out and pet my rabbits, give them love and affection. That's why they have a buddy. That's why he has a buddy. I mean, those two are males, these two are females. But this is why they have a buddy, to keep each other company. And they have a toy in there, like she has a toy in there. The boys have a toy. The girls play with the toys more than the boys do. And I try to give them treats once in a great while and hang stuff down. They need more because they destroyed all theirs. The boys do not play with toys that much. I mean, even the treat toys, they'll gnaw on it for a day or two. And then just pee all over it. And leave it sit there. I have had males that are single in one cage thinking that maybe they're doing it because they're marking it as theirs. They play with it for maybe an hour or two and then they just leave it. They get bored with it. They don't want that toy anymore. I've tried all different kinds of toys. Girls play with all their toys. Take them into their hut, throw them out of their hut. They'll play with them for hours. Come out the next day, play with them for hours. And everybody else that has boy rabbits are like, oh, my boy rabbit plays with their toys for hours. And I'm like, good for you, mine don't. But if it wasn't so rainy this year, I mean, it just rained and rained and rained this year. Like the chickens can be out on wet grass. Rabbits, like I could put the rabbits in the playpen, even with the turkeys. Turkeys ain't gonna hurt them. Because I've done that before. If the grass is too damp and they're on it for too long, a rabbit can get sick. They can get a cold. I didn't want to take a chance this year. There was a couple days that it was nice and dry enough. I put them out for a while. I put the girls out for a couple hours. Then I changed it around and put the boys out. So they got out. They ate some grass. They helped mow the grass down. But they didn't get out as much as I would like. So I have to pick them grass and throw in there. But anyway, another sad thing in the home front. There's been some videos that you had seen. I went live. Not yesterday, but the day before. Where you had seen me stick my one rooster and Lane in this cage. And Lane had been suffering from an abscess. The abscess was gone. There was nothing there. And then I came out that next morning. When John came and got me, he said Lane was acting pretty weird. And I was like, okay, what's wrong? Hey, George. And I was like, okay, what's wrong? And he said, Lane's just laying in the box making a weird noise. So I came out and I thought, well, maybe something got a hold of him. He was injured. Looked him all over, nothing. I checked his mouth out. There was nothing in his mouth. Like I said, the abscess was gone. I mean, there was like a little bump there from where it was that still had to heal up from where the abscess had been. And like I said, the first round of antibiotics we used didn't help it as much, so we had to use a second round of antibiotics because when we first noticed it, it was still warm out. We didn't want to have to lance it open with it being warm out and worry about, like, you know, maggots or any infection. I didn't want to have to take him in the shed or put him in the coop, keep him, because I already had Morty's cage in there. I already have a cage in there. I didn't want to take up any more space. So I didn't want to have to lance it open and worry about any infection on the outside. But the second round of antibiotics we used was supposed to be stronger, but also help dry it up faster. So after contacting the vets and more professionals, we come to the conclusion that the abscess may have been, what we might not have realized it was maybe a cancerous type of abscess, where it seemed like an abscess, but it was a cancerous type of abscess. Even though it looked like an abscess, acted like an abscess, it was a cancerous type of abscess. It was something that was fast spreading. Even though he didn't appear sick, he didn't act sick, nothing. But yesterday, he went downhill so fast that I wouldn't even been able to run him to the vet in time. I mean, by the time I was making these calls and typing and on the phone, he had passed that quickly. So there would have been no time for me even run him, and the closest emergency vet is State College for me from here where I live in the Cinnamon Driftwood, Pennsylvania area. So it was just one of those things. And like I said, each animal has an expiration date. There's only so much you can do. We tried before, we tried doing things, and sometimes animals don't let you know how real sick that they are. He was looked at, he was checked out, he was diagnosed, but we didn't think it was a cancer. You know, and it's not their fault, it's not my fault. We did not seriously think it was, you know, a cancerous type, and we didn't think it was to begin with. I think it had turned cancerous, with all the stuff that we were trying to do. Okay, the turkeys can have that if they want. I think that's what happened. I think it had turned to a cancer because during its second stage, even though it had cleared up, I think it had turned to cancer and maybe spread through another part of his body. But he just wasn't letting us know that he was that sick. It's understandable. I get it. It's understandable. But that's all the news I have. You got to see the babies. You got to see the chicks. Rory's not out here with his brother. He went into a timeout because he was being mean to everybody else. He's in Morty's cage. Morty's out. Turkeys are in here today. He went into a timeout. I let him out. Hi, girls. So you can go out here in a minute. Get your butt out of the way. Hi, Tuck Tuck. I know. Rory goes out for an hour or two a day so he can stretch his wings. And I watch him. When he starts getting a little bit mean, would you quit pecking? When Rory starts getting mean, and he won't even try to come out. Okay? When Rory starts, oh, I gotta get your water dish. You keep pooping in. When he starts chasing George and the other rooster around and starts chasing Morty and he's a little bit mean, he goes right back in. You guys, his pen's money. It's why I got my boots on. But when he starts chasing the other chickens, everybody went in there because I thought I got their food dishes in there because it's going to rain again today, or it's supposed to. But when Rory starts chasing the other guys, he does pretty good. After about 2 hours when he starts chasing, away from the food dishes, away from the water dishes, and it's like, you can't do that. So it's basically to reestablish dominance, to let him be like, no, you can't do that, to just give them a break so it's not stressing them out too much. For the first 3, almost 4 days, he didn't chase Morty, he didn't chase the 2 new roosters, and it's like, he knows who George is. He grew up with George. He didn't grow up with Corona Jr., aka Dodo. I'm going to call him Dodo because Dodo just be walking around, not watching where he's going and running to the side of the fence. But he grew up with, hey girls, see, I'm out here. He grew up with George. George was already an adult when Rory was a baby. George was a year older than him. But yet, he's been being mean to George. Morty was a little bit older than him. In fact, Morty is a year older than him. And now that Morty is more or less blind and he's handicapped, he only put up with Lane. He did pick on Lane a little bit. But he was even starting to be mean to Lane. And it's like, yeah, stop doing that. So all I'm doing is, I know it sounds mean, I'm just trying to reestablish a pecking order. Just show him, no, he can't do that. And I told him, if he was going to be bad, he's going to go in Morty's pen for a timeout. I let him out. I watch him. He starts being bad. It's like, back in for timeout. And he's got food. He's got water. So it's not like I'm being like super mean to him, not feeding him, not watering him. He's getting everything he needs. It's just to give these guys a break. I don't want to stress anybody out. And, you know, Sorry guys, my camera shut off. Sometimes it does that. Anyways, I was explaining about Rory. I do this, I have him in timeout. I just do this to other roosters before. I just have them in timeout for just a little bit. Sometimes it takes two or 3 days for them to, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 weeks. So, you know, it's not, I don't have Hans out here today. Hans wanted back in. He was out here with me a little bit earlier, so he just kind of wants back in. Before it gets too dark, right, Kai? Right? Before it gets too dark. Look how pretty it is out here with all the leaves in the yard. And my battery's dying, so. How about we say goodbye? Huh? We say goodbye? Yep. But you got to see the babies. Lane passed away. There's nothing more we could do. It's just, you know, how things are. I'm going to let the turkeys out for a bit. Okay? Alright. Say goodbye, Kai. Say bye-bye. Say bye, Kai. Say bye. Good girl.